there's a hole, there's a black mark on her soul. In her hands is my heart, and she won't let go till it's scarred. Try to breathe, but I can't, 'cause the air she feeds me is damned. Got a touch like a thorn, 'cause the girl she's hiding horns. She got blood cold as ice.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll give you a minute. I'm just waiting for the score sheet to come back, and we'll get underway with the lineup. So please be patient for a few minutes. Score sheet is getting copied, so that commentators can stay ahead of see who the players are. So just be very copied.
Well, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are still at Marion, the SA Aquatic and Leisure Centre, which is thankfully a little bit cooler now the sun's gone down. I'll be joined in commentary for the men's game by John Harmer, who's been on announcing duties for the first game, and what a game the first one was.
It was a very good game. I think the Henley girls got out to a really good start, courtesy of some great goalkeeping by Victoria Risby.
Oh, she was outstanding.
She was, and then the Tritons girls pegged them back, and it was just a 2-goal margin in the end.
It just seemed to have everything for me. But we are now on to the boys, and the Adelaide Tritons are taking on the Adelaide Vikings. So. Is that an Adelaide derby? Is there a bit of rivalry between these two?
Well, there is, of course. Being a relatively small water polo community in Adelaide, many of these lads play National League together with the Adelaide Jets team. So they know each other inside out, and it'll be a good game.
So a little bit of mate against mate going on.
Absolutely.
But we certainly saw it in the women's game, and don't be fooled by how calm and serene it looks. And it doesn't look that calm and serene above the surface, but it's to the power of 10 underneath the surface.
Yeah, very much so.
We were close. I think we were discussing whether we could get an underwater camera. We just didn't quite manage to bring that together, but that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
It certainly makes for interesting watching.
Yep.
So, if I had to nail it down early on, Tritons or Vikings?
Look, I think Tritons. I think they go a little bit deeper. Vikings have got a couple of outs. A very talented young player, Kaylin Gruby, who's been in national junior squads. He's got some study commitments in South Africa at the moment. And the regular goalkeeper, who's a police officer, is unavailable.
So if you look at it, the Tritons have one extra before the start. As we might step out while they do the announcements, I think.
Introducing the Tritons in the white cap. Number 1, Thomas Burney. Number 2, Raph Sturt. Number 3, Dan Hall. Number 4, Hamish Coote. Number 7, Chin Jolly. Number 8, Charlie Bates. Number 9, Clyde Peters. Number 10, Jet Lewis. Number 12, Nat Swan. Number 5, not quite on the score sheet, is Nick George. For the Adelaide Vikings, number 1, Luke Macalino. Number 2, Tom Damon. Number 4, Cam Decker. Number 5, Dane Kennedy. Number 6, Owen Glennie. Number 8, Noah Gladdy. Number 9, Will Damon. Number 10, Fraser Woods. Number 11, Jesse Taylor. Not sure how referees could be this coming on here. Jason Wedding is the second referee. So, please head to the water.
So they are your starting lineups. That's Mark Damon pulling a double shift. Like yourself, you announced the last game and then you come up here.
Absolutely, yes.
He helped me out last game and now he's down there. So double shift. It's what we get paid for, though, isn't it? I hear the money's really good in water polo volunteering.
Oh, yeah, fantastic, fantastic.
So we are looking forward and getting ready to go as the boys jump in the pool. It's again, if you are watching this and you're not overly aware, it's a relatively simple game. Score more goals than the other team, and that's about it.
Sure.
But some of the little ones you can only pass and shoot with one hand. The goalkeeper is the only one who's allowed to use two hands.
Correct.
Other than that, it's just score as many goals as you can. Because I have to be honest, this is a quick introduction to water polo for me. I have absolutely no idea what the referees are doing with their hands, but it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. It's certainly been exciting, and it's only going to get better from now on. Definitely. And you were saying that going into the National League as well, how does South Australia fare in the National League?
We had a very good season last year with the boys. They started out like a house on fire. They won, I think, their first 6 games. We tend to struggle. We have a strange situation where typically many of our most talented youngsters do gravitate towards the eastern states, where there is a lot more playing opportunities, bigger training environment. National squads are training interstate often. So unfortunately, we can sometimes lose our better players. But we're very fortunate at the moment. We have two excellent National League coaches. We have Eddie Dennis, who would be very well known to many of our viewers, former Olympic goalkeeper himself, and certainly in recent years has been the national senior assistant for the women, and Dusan Damjanovic, who is changing roles tonight from the National League men's coach to the referee as we look at the far side of the pool. He'll be very pleased to see how I would, if I were guesstimating, I would say that at least half the players in the pool are players who are training under him in preparation for the National League season. So he'll be keen to see how they perform against each other.
Because we are live on Facebook. We're live on Facebook in a number of different places. We're on the Water Polo SA Facebook page. If you're with us there, please share it so we get this out there. Also, if you are watching on the Space Quake Sports page, share that one as well. Let's try and break out of the water polo community. Not saying that the water polo community needs breaking out of, but let's share it. Let's see whether we can get as many people as possible. Honestly, if like me, you are new to the game of water polo and you've not really sat down and watched the match, do it. Like the 28 minutes plus stoppages of the ladies' game was absolutely enthralling. Please share it. Let's get it out there, because what a game this is.
Well, it's I'm speaking as a very biased person, having been involved for much of my life with water polo, but no, it's a great combination of speed and endurance, skill, intelligence, a lot to offer.
And we are off with the first swim up, and the Tritons are wearing the white caps. They'll be attacking the left of your screen. The Vikings in the blue caps, and the Tritons will have first bite at it. And they will go first, and Sturk, he will find his way to the point. What do you expect to see from the opening stages of this game? Just them feeling each other out?
Very much so. It's a little bit like at this level we've got it's the A-grade men, it's the bigger bodies, without being too melodramatic, it's a bit like the heavyweight title fight, a little bit of sparring to start with, trying each other's, looking for each other's strengths and weaknesses, and looking for an early ascendancy.
So Woods will send it back to Damon at the point, lofted ball over to the near side wing to Taylor, then they will go back to Gladdy, all the way across, and they're just trying to find an opening, which they do first off, and Bernie gets a big right hand to it, and we'll stop that one. It's the first real punch thrown in anger today.
Tom Burney, interestingly, is one of a few goalkeepers that the Triton clubs have, so that they find the net, they'll have him in goals, and ironically, Raf Sturk, who many of our listeners across the nation will know, and even globally, is a three-time Olympian for Australia as a goalkeeper. But he started in the field tonight. Well,
there's talent on show as the Vikings start to go again. Back again to the point. The shot clock will come down to 6. There's the shot off the surface, kicked up into the roof of the net. And that is Bernie defeated for the first time tonight. But nothing has gone up. Has something gone up? I'm waiting for it though. Relied on the scoreboard initially in the first game. So give me my goal scorers, but there we go. Owen Gladdy has scored for the Vikings.
Owen Gladdy's a very talented youngster, just toured Europe this year with one of the Australian junior squads, shows a lot of promise.
So Sturk again will work his way to the point, look for a little bit of an opening. They'll look to the centre forward, but just into open water. Macalino will look to outlet. Excellent pass right onto the hand of Taylor. Taylor will just arrow towards the goal. Shows, and again just under the right hand of Bernie. And the second goal of the game. Jesse Taylor. 2 in a flash for the Vikings.
This is the start that the Vikings would have been looking for, and what a confidence boost that 2 of their younger players, Owen Gladdy, followed by Jesse Taylor, opened the scoring to put them 2 up.
So the Tritons with it all to do in the early stages. Out to that 11 o'clock position as they then look to the front. Fights hard. Manages to do well. Macalino does enough, just gets body in front of it. Quick outlet pass. Will find Woods as his target. Just put it into space rather than to the player. Again, they will go to the point. Damon fires it. Oh, second time of asking, but Bernie did get it.
Tom Damon, the shooter there, I think it's fair to say, in the twilight of his career a little bit, has been a former state National League captain. Unsuccessful on that occasion.
Great ball into space. Oh, massive save from Macalino. Made himself big. Right hand got in the way. Tritons doing everything they can to just even it out. They'll come out to the point to Stirk. Has to go backwards, then lobs it forward. Question as to whether he was in the 2 metre, but it's all okay, and Macalino's going to come away with it anyway.
That was Dan Hall, had the shooting opportunity for Tritons there, an exceptionally good player, a key member once again of the Adelaide Jets National League team. And if Tritons are going to win this one tonight, they'll be hoping that young Dan can score quite a few goals.
So Damon leisurely brings it into the attacking half. Fired at the surface and ricocheted over the top. Outlet ball to Stirk. And then will come out. Big, strong challenge. Gives away the foul. Back out to the point to Tim Jolly. Turnover.
Raph Stirk, the former goalkeeper, as I was saying earlier, playing a steadying role. He's the on-field coach, playing almost a bit of a quarterback role when he takes the ball in the middle of the pool.
Well, yeah, I was going to say almost like a point guard, especially with the shot clock and everything else. And just looped over the top, and again
Nice
a
pass from
massive save from Bernie. Still in there. Stirk has to come and take control, stamp his authority on it.
That was Tom Damon passing the ball over the top to little brother Will, but little brother Will happens to be 4 or 5 inches taller, or should I say many centimetres taller. Unsuccessful with a shot on that occasion.
Oh, and again, Macalino is earning his stripes tonight.
Well, Macalino, as I was saying, was the late call-up. The normal goalkeeper, unavailable, Marshall Morley, and Macalino called up from B-grade ranks, and so far is doing a good job.
Earning his call-up. Oh, and again,
Fraser
just off the
Woods.
surface, and you can't, there's not a lot a keeper can do because it can go anywhere once it hits the surface.
Interesting to note, Dave, quite a few of the players in the pool, it's a bit of a thing in the water polo community, are the sons of. There's at least 3 or 4 of the players in there whose fathers used to play, and certainly young Fraser Wood, who scored that goal. His father Michael is a former veteran for the Vikings club in the Adelaide Jets.
Well, Owen Gladdy with his second goal of the game, and again they will look to Stirk just to try and claw something back. 3-goal lead and about a minute and a half left in this first quarter. Stirk will make a little bit of space, passes back to the point. One touch pass, and then it will come back to the 1 o'clock position. They get the foul. Will they look to feed the centre just off the post? Can they get the ball back? No, it's going to find its way to Macalino.
The pressure starts to build on Tritons, with Vikings with that 3-goal margin. That the players just start to tighten up, and they're concerned about missing, as they have done on a few occasions, and of course the great saves by Macalino. Strong challenge then.
Caught him right in the cheek. He's, I don't know, I haven't got a number 5 hat. I think he's swapped his hat somewhere along the line. We'll find out who he is at some point.
Nick Jordan Jr.
That's a better save from Bernie.
I dare say at this stage, Dave, with 51 seconds left in the quarter, Vikings will take a full attack, milk all of the clock they can, and just leave minimal time for Tritons to score. I'd be happy to sit on a 3-goal lead at this stage at quarter time.
Yeah, I'd imagine that would be the case. And 20 seconds of the 40 is going to go with the Vikings just passing the ball around.
Doing just that, just holding on, just consolidating.
He has turned it over though.
Yes.
Oh, and then gives away. Oh, there's a little bit of push and shove between the two experienced campaigners, the two number 2s, Stirk and Damon.
The oldest players in their respective teams.
Are they both going? Well, both going to the 2 old men put in the naughty corner this early on.
Are they both going, or is it just Damon, I feel?
Tom Damon is going, but...
Yeah, Stirk has survived the inquiry from the referee.
No, but nothing wrong with a little bit of robust debate. They will go back to Stirk, who will have his blood up, looks for a little bit of space, can't find any. Then we'll go out. Now he will look for it, and it just came off the Vikings' head. It's still bouncing around.
Oh, with 0.4 of a second, Dave, left. That's a very important goal.
That's our man Jordan Jr. Just got him in time.
Yes. A very important goal in the context of the game. Makes the score 3 to Vikings and 1 to Tritons.
Well, we talk about coach killers and losing possession.
What, long shot? Oh, a deflection.
When you talk about coach killers and losing possession with that much time, then getting yourself excluded and conceding a goal, I think Mr. Damon might feel the wrath of his coach, captain, or...
Well, it was unnecessary, putting it bluntly, and that 3-goal margin that I said that Vikings were looking forward to, there's now only 2.
And 2 goals, so what will the coaches be saying? I think it's just more of the same for the Vikings, and the Tritons started to come into it a little bit more, and I think Bernie's been unlucky with some of the goals that he's conceded, but Macalino certainly is.
Yeah, look, I think at the moment the shots that Vikings have put away to score those 3 goals have been exceptional shots. It'll be interesting to see whether that high level of performance can stay. And on the other side of the coin, Tritons perhaps just needed to be a little bit more accurate against Macalino. I'd be looking for young Dan Hall, who I mentioned earlier, to start shooting a bit more. He is probably the exceptional shooter in the pool, and didn't have that many goals in that first quarter.
So in the ladies' game, what we saw in the ladies' game, we saw a scoreless second quarter. Things really, really tightened up. I don't know whether that's what we'll see here. I think, certainly they'll look to extend their lead, the Vikings, and they don't want to sit back on that lead, though, do they? They certainly don't want to allow the Tritons to come at them.
No. If you, it's a well-known philosophy in water polo coaching. If you don't attack hard, you leave the opposition with enough energy for them to attack hard. So Vikings need to keep pushing at Tritons, make them work in defence, maybe win the odd kick out, and then when Tritons get the ball, they're a little bit fatigued themselves when they come back down the other end. I
found it really quite interesting that the tempo is the game. Both teams are controlling that tempo. It's not 100% at the moment. They're taking the time and looking for the spaces and looking for the gaps. I'm sure as the game goes on and it becomes more and more tight that we will see that tempo lift and really start to get quite interesting as we get towards the end of the game. There's as per usual, the ex-internationals and experienced players having a very heated discussion with one of our referees. Was Raf Stirk down here? Never ever agree with an umpire or a referee, do we?
And I must apologise because I think I called one of young Owen Gladdy's goals to Fraser Wood, but that's a very good start for the youngster to have 2 goals on the board at this stage.
Yeah, so Owen Gladdy has 2 to his name, and Jesse Taylor has the 1. Nick Jordan got the 1 goal for the Tritons, and we are off and running. Referee almost wasn't ready.
Referee Jason Wedding.
So, I think we should do some sort of fundraising thing to get the donut thing that comes down in the middle like they do in the Olympics. I like that.
I think so.
So again, the Vikings will look with first ball on and again off the bar. Doesn't go over though. So Bernie gets out of jail somewhat. Certainly a tactic we're seeing a lot more in the men's game than we did in the women's, with the coming off the surface, but rapid attack from the Tritons. They will get the foul. They'll come out to Hall. Hall strong fires it.
Great save by McAleno.
Good left hand save from McAleno. And again, they are saves he has to make. None of these are for the cameras. So the Tritons again will look to build. Hall to the point. We'll send it out to Bates. Bates is fouled. Look to that centre forward position. Just tried to touch it out, but they have managed to turn it over, and Owen Gladdy managed to get the turnover and sends it back to McAleno. Looks for an outlet, finds one. Out onto this near side wing with Kennedy.
Kennedy's come to Adelaide from Sydney a couple of years ago. Formerly
Long
played there.
ball over the top, tried to pull the trigger, just couldn't get enough purchase on it, Taylor. Looking for his second goal of the game, just couldn't quite get there. Ball's a bit wet.
Don't know if we need the dad jokes, Dave.
Sorry. They are allowed though. Again, somebody I don't have a name for, the number 12 in the white hats. Oh, sorry, no, that is Nat Swan. Turned over again.
Nat Swan, another talented youngster. They have two very good left-handers, Charlie Bates and Nat Swan, both really up-and-comers in South Australian water polo, and future's bright for them, those two Tritons club boys.
In all seriousness though, you are trying to grip a ball one-handed. That is absolutely sopping wet, and then pull the trigger. It's not an easy skill, one would imagine.
No, not at all.
Foul given before Fraser Woods managed to get it into the net.
On that occasion, the referee deemed that Woods was in fact holding the offensive player to facilitate the 360 turn that he did.
So a little bit of space for Lewis. Lewis will look to the centre, first time! And the Tritons will get back on the board, and they will get to 3-2.
Nice pass by Lewis then, and Hall held the person in the centre back position on that occasion. William Damon held him off, created a passing space for Lewis to pass into, and then Hall, as I said earlier, a very good finisher, put it away and put the Tritons just one behind now.
So one goal in it. Good finish, backhand finish. Low and away from McAleno. Ball is in the hands of Tom Damon.
Triton sub just leaving the pool, and away we go.
Gives it off to his brother Will. Then they will find Taylor. Taylor with Lewis for company, gets the foul. Goes all the way across to Tom Damon. He's allowed to come forward. Big battle in front.
Damon puts it wide.
So Bernie outlets, just puts it into a little bit of a dangerous position. Not sure that's a competition that Hall wanted. He wins out though. Beating out Noah Gladdy. Holds him off and finds a pass. Oh, he snuck through. Charlie Bates, I think that was, manages to get the equalising goal. Just snuck underneath McAleno.
Dave, as I said, I mentioned just a moment ago the two talented young left-handers for Tritons, and Charlie Bates put that shot away. For those new to water polo, if you had slow time-lapse photography, when the ball bounces, it actually submerges to some degree, and that's how it slips under the goalkeeper's arms, because it's actually at least half of the ball is below the surface, which makes it tough for the goalkeeper.
So we are right back where we started, all square. Taylor to Damon, then he will find Woods. Woods looking for a spot. deflected in front. Big, strong challenge.
Big challenge.
And a foul given. Just the foul, though.
Yes, the Vikings coaching staff were looking for something a bit more from referee Damjanovic.
I think a lot of people were looking for a little bit more. Effortless out of the air from Taylor. Back to Woods. Damon with a little bit of time and space will fire it, and Bernie can get that one. I would have to say at this A-grade level, if you're not making the goalkeeper work with a deflection off the surface, it's easy for them.
Yes, it is. And at the moment, the Vikings attack has become a little bit stagnant. They're a bit predictable. Damon's having a lot of shots from the point region. They need a driver to break up that defence.
So Bates will win the fine.
Yes, he's confident now.
Very quickly. And we turn around and Charlie Bates scores his second of the game. Just fired it into the top, well, just away to the right of Macalino.
And Dave, Charlie Bates is another one of those that I said is the son of a former player, and I hope his dad's watching us this evening. He spends a lot of time working in Bangkok, so he's got the opportunity to be watching this game. So Tony, if you're watching, send us a text here at the commentary position or give us a hi on Facebook.
So just another substitution. You've got a massive compliment here. Who was it? I'll find the comment again when we get a chance.
Fraser Woods, he's a danger man. There's this static offense I referred to. The Vikings need a bit more movement.
The three at the top have caused all sorts of problems.
Dendeka fighting hard. Oh, what's that?
Stack is there again.
It's that washing machine effect. Oh, well played. Dane Kennedy. Woods.
So they've just taken the foot off the gas and 10 seconds on the shot clock, but he's got lots of time and space. Deflection came from Sturck, playing goalkeeper 6 or 7 meters out from goal, but did just as well.
Yes, at times Tritons have got 2 goalkeepers in there, of course.
Big outlet pass to Peters. Peters has got in front. He's got people streaming forward in the white hats. Pass just touched by Damon. Gave them a little bit of space, and there they will capitalise on that. Jordan will score his second of the game. And now, 2-goal lead to the Tritons.
Well, in fact, Dave, if we consider that Vikings were 3-0 up, it's been a 5-goal-in-a-row rampage.
That is a 5-goal turnaround. Damon Doody says, Johnny Boy Harmer sounding like BT. That's one heck of a compliment for you.
Oh, dear.
So, just to relax, the referee's going to time out. There we go. Good allow us all to catch our breath. But you are right, 5-goal turnaround. And well, we go back to decision making and coach killers. Tom Damon loses possession with less than a minute to go in the first quarter, and it gave that momentum to the Tritons, and now they've really wrested the game away with both hands now.
Very much so, and the timeout from Vikings was necessary. They're trying to put the handbrake on what's happening. They desperately need the next goal. If the score was to be another one for Tritons and went to 6-3, that really makes it tough for them.
And it was interesting, Raf Sturck didn't start that quarter. He was away for about half of that quarter.
Okay.
And they got the run on when he came back in.
Yeah,
and just started to find a little bit of space, a little bit of time, and was able to pick out passes. And obviously we've seen how just immense he is defensively, but really starting to make this game his own at the moment, Raf Sturck.
Yes, and look, I know the old fellow well, in a water polo sense. He's an old fellow, but he's a very well-respected player nationally, if not internationally, and his knowledge of the game is top class, so he will continue to have an influence now that the pace has gone off the game particularly.
So Damon at the point. Sends it out to that 11 o'clock position, then they'll look at the one, back to 11. Thought about it, pulls the trigger off the crossbar, comes exactly the wrong way. The Vikings doing everything they could but score on that one. And Bernie very relieved to pluck that one as it harmlessly bobbed in front of his goal. And Sturck will now take control.
Interesting day, because to start with, Vikings couldn't miss. They've had a couple of bar downs, and that can happen in a game. They've got to take stock, not be afraid to shoot, but they've been a little bit unlucky with a couple of those bars.
Big block from Damon. Big.
Oh, a turnover, clever play.
Back to Stark. Everything seems to build from him. Out to the wing. Back to Stark. Thought about it. Then we'll back off. Send it over to Lewis.
A lot happening at centre forward.
I know.
Young
I'm
Bates.
trying to watch the ball, but honestly, what happens in front of that goal?
There's Jordan.
Jordan will fire it just over, looking for his hat-trick. Just over the bar.
So one attack left for Vikings. 16 seconds left in the half.
I don't think there was an issue with the play clock. They
Correct.
had enough time. There is 10 seconds left.
This is very
Damon
important.
fires
Great
straight
block,
into the
great
chest
block.
of Stark.
And
Then
a
goes for
long-
touch, and it comes off the post. And again, Bernie can happily just throw it away. And we will go to half-time. Again, they did everything but score then, the Vikings. Well, it's been a game of 2 quarters so far.
As they say.
With the Vikings taking an early lead and then the Tritons coming back. We will step away for a short break and we'll be back for quarters 3 and 4 from the SA Aquatic and Leisure Centre. I'll get it right at some point tonight. Brought to you by Space Quake Sports, and very much thank you to Water Polo SA. We'll be back soon.